Welcome to Zoe Stories. My ex said I'd regret it now I'm her bridesmaid. You look beautiful, Nicole. Her voice still echoes in my head, clear, soft, haunting. Aurora. My ex. My ex who made me her bridesmaid. The worst part? I wasn't supposed to enjoy it. But standing in front of her mirror, wearing the pale lavender satin gown she picked out, the one that hugged my body just a little too perfectly, I didn't recognize the man I used to be.
No.
I wasn't him anymore. I was Nicole now. And she made sure of it. A year ago, I had everything sorted. Or so I thought. Name: Daniel Collins. Age: 24. Occupation: freelance graphic designer, laptop, hoodies, coffee. The classic, introvert behind the screen type. Private, quiet, invisible. And yet, I had secrets louder than any scream. By day, I designed minimalist logos. By night, I stood in front of my full-length mirror, trying on things that didn't belong to me. Skirts that I'd bought online under a fake name. Lipstick hidden in a shoebox beneath my bed. It wasn't just curiosity. It was comfort. Escape. A truth I didn't dare say out loud. Except once. Aurora and I had dated for almost a year. She was sharp, magnetic, the kind of girl who could walk into a silent room and have everyone hanging on her words.
Me?
I was the guy in the corner, sipping water and pretending to text. And yet, she noticed me.
Talk to me.
Loved me. Or at least, she thought she did, until she opened the wrong drawer. My drawer. Where the red dress was. Where the lipstick sat, worn down to a soft nub. That night, she didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at me and said 4 words. You'll regret this someday. We broke up 2 weeks later. No drama. Just silence. She left her key, took her cat, and vanished from my life. Or so I thought. Fast forward 10 months. I was finally rebuilding. No dating. No drama. Just work, sleep, and the occasional midnight transformation when I couldn't fight the urge. Then came the message. Hey, stranger.
I know this is weird.
But can we talk?
Aurora.
I stared at my phone for 10 minutes. I didn't answer. Then 2 days later, another message. I'm getting married. That hit like a punch. I'd really like you to be there. I laughed. Out loud. Until I saw the next line. Not as a guest. As one of my bridesmaids. Nicole, I mean. My throat went dry. She knew. She remembered. And worse, she was inviting that side of me. I should have said no. Blocked her. Walked away. Instead, I wrote back. Where and when? Maybe it was guilt. Maybe curiosity. Or maybe, just maybe, I wanted to see what it felt like to be chosen. Not as Daniel pretending to be normal, but as Nicole, chosen to stand beside her. But Aurora doesn't do anything without a reason. Not after the way we ended. Some part of me knew this was a trap. That she didn't just want me at her wedding, she wanted revenge. But by the time I realized it, I was already in the boutique. Already being zipped into satin. Already looking at myself in the mirror. Lips painted, lashes long, chest padded and lifted. Thinking one dangerous thought. What if I was always meant to be her bridesmaid? Now the wedding is only 3 days away. And every second I spend in this dress, in these heels, under her gaze, I feel less like Daniel, more like Nicole. And Aurora? She's watching every move I make, with a smile that says, told you you'd regret it. 1 hour. That's all I need you to give me, Nicole. That's what Aurora said when I walked into her apartment again. She said it with that same smug calmness, as if this was all just casual. As if I hadn't spent the last 10 minutes in my car gripping the steering wheel, trembling. The first thing she handed me wasn't a drink. It was a silk robe. Get changed in the bathroom, she said. The real outfit's inside. I should have said no. I should have walked away. But instead, I took the robe. The bathroom was still the same as I remembered. Rose gold accents, vanilla-scented candles, one giant mirror that could reveal every flaw. On the counter, laid out carefully, a lavender lace bralette and matching panties. Nude pantyhose, perfectly smooth. A tight lavender bridesmaid dress, zipped halfway, and a handwritten note taped to the mirror. You always wanted to be seen. Don't pretend you didn't. I touched the bralette with shaking fingers. My reflection stared back at me, unkempt stubble, messy hair, bitten nails. Not Nicole. Not yet. But I knew what to do. I stripped slowly, like shedding a layer of fear. The lace was soft, too soft. The pantyhose slid up my legs like a whisper. Then the dress.
Tight. Smooth.
Beautiful. My chest padded. Waist cinched. Hips shaped. I zipped it up and froze. There she was. Nicole. Lips still bare. Hair still unstyled. But she was real. Standing there. Breathing.
Alive.
The thrill was electric. And terrifying. What if she walked in now? What if the neighbor knocked? What if someone saw me like this? I should have taken it all off right then. But I didn't. Knock, knock. I panicked. My heart flew up into my throat. Then her voice. You okay in there? Don't make me come in, Nicole. I paused. Nicole. She wasn't joking anymore.
Why, yeah.
Just finishing. I called back, voice cracking.
She walked in anyway.
And just like that, I was exposed.
She saw me.
Fully dressed. Pantyhose, pads, dress zipped and tight. Hands still trembling. But she didn't laugh. She didn't gasp. She smiled. God, you really do clean up well. Before I could react, she took over. Sit. I sat on the edge of the tub as she pulled out brushes, palettes, and lipstick tubes. If you're going to be in my wedding, she said, dabbing foundation on my cheeks, you better learn how to look the part. Her fingers were skilled fast. Blush. Shadow. Mascara. The swipe of lipstick, a cool kiss of rose pink, sealed it all. Don't smile yet, she teased. You'll ruin the liner. When she was done, she turned the mirror to face me. I gasped. This wasn't Daniel in a dress. This was someone else entirely. Nicole had arrived. I stared at myself, and everything inside me spun. How could something feel so wrong and so right at the same time? Why did it feel like I'd just stepped into who I was always meant to be, and why did I want more? But then came the shame. What if she was mocking me? What if she was only doing this to prove a point, to break me? Why are you doing this? I asked finally, barely above a whisper. She didn't answer. She just reached into a bag and pulled out a pair of 4-inch lavender heels. Try walking, she said. And suddenly, I wasn't sure if I could. Heels. I'd tried them in private, once or twice. But these were sky high. I slipped them on, legs shaky. She stood back, arms crossed, watching like a director on set. From the door to the mirror.
Don't fall.
I took one step, then another.
Click, clack, click, clack.
I felt like a baby deer. But I made it. When I turned back to look at her, something changed in her eyes. Not anger, not revenge. Satisfaction. Like she had just confirmed a theory she'd always known was true. You're going to make the perfect bridesmaid, she said. As she helped me out of the heels, a sudden thought pierced my chest. Does anyone else know? She raised an eyebrow. Know what? About Nicole. About this. She smiled, shrugged. Guess you'll have to wait and see. As I stood at the door ready to leave, still dressed, she leaned in close and whispered, Bring your dress tomorrow. The other bridesmaids want to meet you. My stomach dropped. She was serious. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't private. She was throwing me into the fire, and I was dressed in silk. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my reflection again. Nicole, standing in heels, face painted to perfection. And Aurora's voice whispering, The other bridesmaids want to meet you. What did that mean? Was she serious? Or just testing how far I'd go? Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. It was from an unknown number. Hey, Nicole. Can't wait to meet you. Lena. Another message popped up seconds later. Aurora said you're so cute. We're gonna have so much fun, smiling face with hearts. Grace. Pics or we riot. Taylor. I froze. Aurora had added me to the Bridesmaid group chat, under the name Nicole. And worst of all, she had sent them a photo. I clicked it with trembling hands. It was me, earlier that day, in her apartment, in the dress, makeup done,
Heels on.
She must have snapped it when I wasn't looking. My knees buckled. I sat down, head spinning. 3 strangers had just seen a version of me. I barely accepted myself. What if they shared it? What if someone recognized me? Why was Aurora doing this? I stared at the screen, heart pounding. 3 new messages buzzed in. You're gorgeous. Total bridesmaid goals. Can't wait to see you at the bridal spa this weekend. Bridal spa? I wanted to throw my phone across the room. My mind raced back to our last fight. Me and Aurora. The day she left. I had begged her not to tell anyone. Begged her not to hate me. I thought she understood. But now, it was like she'd taken my deepest secret and turned it into a game. A performance. Was this about power? Humiliation? Or something darker? Saturday came faster than I expected. Aurora texted again. Spa day at 1. Don't be late, Nicole. I stared at the lavender dress hanging on my closet door. Next to it sat the bag with the wig, makeup, and heels. Could I actually do this? Go outside as Nicole? Walk into a public spa dressed like this? I almost bailed. Almost texted. I can't. I'm sick. But something inside me whispered. She already sent your photo. They already believe Nicole is real. So now she has to be. This time, I got ready without Aurora. Step by step. The wig fit better. The makeup went on smoother. The dress clung tighter, and I didn't flinch this time. I didn't look like a guy in a costume. I looked like someone else. Someone powerful. Someone brave. I looked like Nicole. And Nicole? She was about to walk into a spa full of real women. As I walked into the posh downtown spa, my heels clicking against marble, I felt like every eye was on me. Were they staring? Judging? Could they tell? Then I heard laughter, familiar, cruel, and sweet.
Aurora.
She was sitting with 3 other women, sipping champagne, robes already on. Lena.
Grace.
Taylor. The bridesmaids. And when they saw me, they all cheered. Nicole. You're even prettier in person. OMG. Love that shade of lipstick. They didn't hesitate. No questions. No judgment. They pulled me into a hug, handed me a flute of champagne, and tossed me a soft lilac robe. Was this real? Or were they in on something I didn't know yet? I kept glancing at Aurora. She just smiled and said nothing. Later, while the other girls were getting facials, Aurora sat next to me on a bench near the lockers. She leaned in. You know, the old you never would have had the guts to do this. I looked down at my manicured hands. Is that what this is about? Teaching me a lesson? She tilted her head. Not a lesson. A mirror. So, you can finally see what I always saw, who you really are. Her voice softened. You can hate me later. But right now, own it. I didn't know whether to cry or thank her. We left the spa late. Just as I was pulling off my wig in the car, a new message lit up my screen. See you tonight for the rehearsal dinner. Wait, what? Another message from Aurora. Forgot to tell you, rehearsal dinner's at 7. Dress formal. And yes, Nicole's invited. My fiancé's family wants to meet the whole bridal party. I stared at the screen, my blood turning to ice. Her fiancé's family. Strangers. Photos. Questions. This wasn't just a game anymore. This was exposure. And I was trapped. Formal. That word echoed in my head like a warning bell. I stood in front of my closet for nearly an hour, heart thudding. I had 2 options. 1, bail. Say I was sick. Say I had a family emergency. 2, go. As Nicole. In full glam. And yet, part of me already knew the truth. I was going. Aurora had sent the address. A high-end Italian restaurant with gold chandeliers and white marble floors. This wasn't just dinner. This was a test. I pulled out the dress Aurora had sent the day before. A sleek off-the-shoulder navy gown, with subtle shimmer that caught the light. Beneath it,
Corset.
breast forms.
Tucked. Shaved. Tight.
I added soft smoky eyes, deeper blush, and a bold red lip. The heels? Stilettos, 5 inches. And when I looked in the mirror this time, I didn't flinch, didn't wince. Nicole was confident,
Composed.
elegant. Daniel was buried. The valet took one look at me and smiled politely. Welcome, miss. Inside, and to your left.
Miss.
That word sent a shiver down my spine. As I walked into the restaurant, I spotted Aurora immediately, already seated with her fiancé, Jason, and his parents. She turned, locked eyes with me, and gave a slow, deliberate smile. You made it. She knew this would destroy me. Or transform me. Maybe both. I was seated beside Lena and Grace, across from Jason's younger sister, Mia. They didn't ask questions. They talked about hair, makeup trials, Aurora's stubborn florist, normal bridesmaid banter. But I couldn't eat. My stomach was a tight knot of fear. Every time the waiter refilled my water, I wondered.
Did he see?
Could he tell? I felt the wig sliding slightly, the pantyhose itching under the gown, the weight of the breast forms pressing into my ribs. And yet, no one said a word. Midway through dinner, Jason leaned over and said, Aurora says you two go way back. I froze.
He didn't recognize me.
Didn't see Daniel beneath the foundation. This was insane. Yeah. College, I said, keeping my voice light, slightly higher. He chuckled. She said you two had some history. Aurora, watching from the side, sipped her wine and smiled. Oh, you could say that, she added, her tone dripping with implication. Jason laughed. Well, glad you're part of her day. I smiled, but my heart was pounding. This wasn't just a dinner. It was a performance. And one wrong move would shatter the illusion. Aurora stood up halfway, through dessert. Let's get some photos. Bridesmaids and bride. We all rose, heels clicking, gowns swaying. A waiter took the phone.
Click. Flash. Smile.
Nicole stood in the center, Aurora's arm around her waist. Snap. Forever captured. A lie, oi preserved. And yet, I smiled.
Genuinely. Because part of me wanted this.
Part of me craved it. As we walked out to the valet, Aurora pulled me aside. You looked incredible tonight. Like you belong. I didn't respond. She leaned in closer, breath warm on my ear. But don't forget you don't. Her words hit like ice. If Jason knew who you were, if anyone here knew. She trailed off. Smile, Nicole. The camera's still on. That night, I sat in front of the mirror in my apartment, wiping away the makeup slowly. Lashes.
Gone.
Lipstick.
Smeared. Dress.
Unzipped and hanging from my shoulders. I looked at myself, half Daniel, half Nicole. And I didn't know who I was anymore. But one thing was certain. Aurora wasn't finished with me. And with every event, she was pulling me deeper in. Aurora's message came in at midnight. Dress shopping tomorrow. 10 a.m. sharp. Don't be late, Nicole. My stomach sank. Each time she called me Nicole, it felt more real. Each time she added another public event, it felt more dangerous. And yet, I still didn't say no. I arrived early. Aurora had already picked out the boutique, one of those luxury bridal places with chandeliers, crystal flutes of sparkling water, and silk gowns priced like cars. I stepped out of the Uber in full glam. A white sundress with soft pink floral accents. A light curls brushing my shoulders. Nude heels. Clutch purse clutched tightly, hiding my shaking hands. The boutique doorbell chimed as I entered. And all heads turned toward me. 2 attendants. A seated mother-daughter pair. And Aurora, standing in the center of it all. She beamed. Nicole, there you are. She said it loud. Too loud. On purpose. One by one, the other girls arrived.
Lena. Grace.
Taylor. They greeted me like we were old friends now. No one questioned me. No one said my name wrong. I was just another bridesmaid. The assistant handed me my assigned gown, a rose gold floor-length dress with an open back and slit up the side. I carried it into the changing room with shaky hands. But the mirror? It welcomed me now. Each layer of the dress, each adjustment, Each strap felt like a chain tightening, and I didn't fight it. Inside the dressing room, I was halfway out of the gown when I heard, "Nicole, you okay? Need help?" It was Taylor. Panic shot through me. The dress was stuck, half down, padding exposed, corset loosened. Yeah. Just give me a second. I stammered. "I'll unzip you from the back." "No, wait." But it was too late. She opened the door. For one horrifying second, she saw me, not as Nicole but as something in between. Her eyes widened, then softened. She smiled. "Girl, you are taped in so tight, I don't know how you breathe. Here, arms up." And just like that, she zipped me back in.
Never said a word about what she saw. Did she know?
Maybe. But she didn't say it. She accepted me anyway. After the fittings, we went for lunch. The other bridesmaids were busy comparing nail polish swatches and floral arrangements. Aurora and I sat at the end of the table.
She leaned in.
"You handled that well." I didn't look at her. "Why are you doing this?" I asked finally. "Doing what?" she said, sipping her iced coffee. "Dragging me deeper. Putting me in front of people. Dressing me up." She tilted her head. "You think I'm forcing you?" I stayed silent. She placed a hand gently on mine. "You could have walked away 10 times. But you didn't. You're here because part of you wants to be." In the corner of the cafe, there was a long gilded mirror. As Aurora spoke, I glanced at it. I saw myself, dressed perfect, hair soft, lips slightly parted. No trace of Daniel. I didn't just look like Nicole. I looked happy. And it terrified me. As we were paying the bill, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Does Aurora know you're lying to everyone?" My blood turned to ice. Another message came in. "I know who you are, Daniel." I nearly dropped the phone. "If you go to that wedding, I'm telling everyone." I looked up from my phone. Aurora was watching me.
Calm.
Smiling. But this wasn't her. This was someone else. And now, someone out there knew I wasn't Nicole. Knew everything. And just 3 days before the wedding, it felt like my secret was hanging by a single thread. "If you go to that wedding, I'm telling everyone." Unknown number. The message sat on my phone screen like a loaded gun. The little text bubble below, it blinked once, then disappeared. No more follow-up. No call. Just silence.
Who was it?
One of the bridesmaids? Jason? Someone from my past? My throat tightened. I felt like I was choking on secrets. Why now? Who's watching? I scanned the room. Aurora, Grace, Lena, Taylor. Even the barista. Did one of them know? Every glance suddenly felt suspicious. Every smile, rehearsed. Even Aurora looked too calm. Was this her doing? Had she planned this twist from the start? But then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Smile, Nicole." The camera's still on. I felt sick. I stormed into Aurora's place that evening. She barely looked up from her wine. "You sent those texts?" I snapped. "What texts?" she said innocently. I held up the screen. She narrowed her eyes, then shook her head. "That's not me." "Don't lie to me, Aurora. I don't need to threaten you. You're already dancing to my tune." She stood slowly, walked over, and brushed my shoulder with a perfectly manicured hand. "Someone else is playing now." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "And it's not me you should be afraid of." Back in my apartment, I scrolled through the bridesmaid group chat. All seemed normal. But then I clicked on Lena's profile photo. In the corner was someone familiar, my former coworker, Ava. My blood ran cold.
Ava.
She used to work in the same office as me, back when I was just Daniel keeping Nicole buried. What if she recognized me in the bridal pics?
What if she told someone?
Or worse, what if she sent the text? That night, my phone rang. Unknown caller. I nearly let it go to voicemail. But something in me said, "Face it." "Hello." There was silence. Then a voice, distorted, maybe masked. "You think no one sees the little games you're playing? You're not a woman, Daniel. Just a man in a costume. Tell Aurora. Or I will."
Click.
Dead air. The next day, Aurora called me herself. You're coming to the final dress rehearsal, right? She asked. I don't think I can, I said quietly. Don't bail now. You're my maid of honor. My heart stopped. Maid of what? Oh, she said with a smirk in her voice. Did I forget to mention? Taylor dropped out. Drama. So, congrats. She was replacing a real bridesmaid with me, making me the centerpiece. Aurora, this is too much. Someone's threatening me. Someone knows. She cut me off. Then own it. Show up in that dress. Hold the bouquet. And show them who Nicole is. Or let them win. That night, I stood in front of the closet again. My maid of honor gown hung on the door.
Satin.
Silver. Elegant. Feminine. My hands trembled. Was I about to walk into the lion's den? Or was this my only chance to live as Nicole, fully, confidently? Even if only for one more day? I didn't sleep that night. But when morning came, I put on the dress. The church was old, elegant, and echoing with whispers when I arrived. White lilies lined the pews. Sunlight poured through stained glass like judgment. I walked in wearing the silver maid of honor gown. Hair curled, makeup flawless, heels tall, click-clacking with every step. A few guests turned to look at me, smiling,
Nodding.
They saw Nicole, not the trembling mess hiding beneath the dress. And that terrified me even more. Aurora greeted me with a cheek kiss and a low whisper. Keep your chin up. You're stunning. But Jason's mother was less warm. She eyed me up and down. You're the maid of honor? She asked, confused. Yes, ma'am, I replied, voice carefully modulated. Her lips pursed. Her eyes narrowed. She said nothing, but the chill lingered. I walked beside Aurora as the priest gave instructions. Where to stand, how to hold the bouquet, when to turn, smile, pose. I followed every cue like a robot. But behind me, I could feel the gaze, like someone watching too closely, like a predator in the pews. I turned slowly. At the back of the church, someone stood with a phone in their hand. Recording. The unknown texter? Was I being filmed? After the rehearsal, as we moved to the side room for snacks and wine, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Silver suits you, Nicole. But wait until they hear your voice crack. Another came seconds later. Maybe I'll forward your old photos to Jason's dad. I nearly dropped the phone. This person didn't just know about Daniel, they had proof. Old photos. My past. And they were ready to burn me to the ground. Aurora cornered me in the hallway, just outside the vestry. You're pale, she said. They know. Someone here knows everything. She studied my face carefully. Do you want to leave? I didn't answer. Because if you stay, you're not hiding anymore. She leaned in close. If they want Nicole, give them Nicole. Fully. Her fingers straightened my neckline. Fixed a strand of hair. Or walk out that door and go back to being no one. The rehearsal dinner was held in the adjoining church hall. Wine flowed. Toast started. Aurora's father raised a glass. Then Jason. Then the priest. And finally, Nicole, Jason said, grinning. Do you want to say a few words? My blood froze. I hadn't prepared anything. I wasn't even supposed to be here. But now, every eye in the room was on me. I stood slowly, silver gown shining in the warm lights. My voice trembled. Aurora and I go way back. I started. A few polite chuckles. She's been many things to me. A friend.
A guide.
Sometimes demure. Aurora smiled, small, secretive. This past month she's helped me find someone I didn't know I was missing. I paused. Looked out over the crowd. Nicole.
Gasps.
Murmurs. And then applause. They didn't know what I meant. But somehow, the words hit.
Deeply.
As I sat back down, heart racing, another message arrived. Unknown number. Beautiful speech. Too bad it'll be your last. The party wound down. Most of the guests filtered out, full of wine, laughter, and polite praise for the elegant maid of honor. I slipped out the back door, my phone clutched in one hand, heart in the other. The message echoed in my head. Too bad it'll be your last. The church's side garden was quiet. Wind rustled the ivy. Moonlight glinted off a nearby bench. Then I heard footsteps. Slow. Deliberate.
Someone was following me.
I turned quickly. It was Ava, my former coworker, from the office where I used to be Daniel, the one who'd always looked at me too closely. She was in a slim black dress, holding her phone like a weapon. "Didn't expect me, huh?" she said flatly.
"You sent those messages," I said.
She smirked. "Couldn't believe it when I saw your face in Aurora's little photo dump. At first I thought, no way. That's not Daniel. But the jawline? That awkward smile? You didn't hide it as well as you thought." My legs nearly gave out. "What do you want?" I asked quietly. "Want? I want honesty. I want you to admit it." She stepped closer, now face to face. "Admit that you're a liar. That you fooled everyone. That you're not Nicole. You're just a man playing dress up." The words hit like stones. But I didn't flinch. "Is that what you think?" I asked. "That this is just a game?" She narrowed her eyes. "I think you're hiding. And I think you're about to ruin Aurora's wedding. Unless—"
She paused.
"You leave. Tonight." Quietly. I stood there, dress fluttering in the breeze, makeup flawless, heart racing. Ava was right about one thing. I had been hiding. Hiding from myself. From judgment. From the world. But tonight, I had spoken.
Dressed. Walked. Danced. Laughed.
Not as Daniel, but as Nicole. And for the first time, I didn't want to run. "You're not going to stop me," I said calmly. "You can expose me. You can send photos. But I'm done being afraid." She looked shocked. "Aurora knows. She's known from the start." That shook her. "And she still chose me." Ava stepped back. Her expression shifted, shock, then confusion, then a strange sort of respect.
"You've changed," she said.
"Not just your clothes. You." She hesitated, then turned. "Good luck, Nicole. Hope you survive the fallout." And just like that, she was gone. But her words lingered like poison. A minute later, Aurora stepped into the garden. "You were gone too long," she said. I turned to her, shaking. It was Ava. "She knows." Aurora nodded slowly. "I figured." "She said she's going to tell everyone." "Let her," Aurora said, taking my hand. I stared at her, bewildered. "You want them to know?"
"No," she said.
"But I want you to stop hiding from who you are." She looked at me, her eyes softer than I'd ever seen. "The moment I saw you as Nicole, I knew you belonged, even if it started as revenge. I think maybe I just wanted you to see what I already did." Aurora held my hand tighter. "You still want to be in the wedding?" I nodded. "Then show them. Be the best damn bridesmaid they've ever seen." She leaned in. No more hiding. No more fear. And right then I realized Nicole wasn't just a mask anymore. She was who I wanted to be. And tomorrow, the whole world would see her. I woke to sunlight and silence. No new threats. No more messages. Just the sound of birds and the smooth satin of the silver gown hanging by my closet door. Today was the wedding, and I wasn't backing out. I'd already come too far. My hands moved with quiet confidence. Foundation blended perfectly. Eyelashes curled, glued. Subtle eyeshadow, shimmering gold. Red lips, bold and sharp. The corset laced tighter than ever. Padding, heels, earrings, soft perfume. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a disguise. I saw the person I had spent years suppressing. Nicole. Fully. Unapologetically. The venue was breathtaking, an outdoor garden wrapped in white roses, fairy lights strung through the trees, and music drifting gently from hidden speakers. I arrived early. Every head turned as I walked past. The whispers started again. "That's the maid of honor? Is that? She's stunning." But this time I didn't shrink. I smiled. Let them look. Ava was already there, seated with Jason's family. Her expression unreadable. Cold. Calculating. Our eyes met. She didn't move. Didn't speak. Just watched. Waiting. I held her gaze. If she wanted a show, I'd give her one. Behind the garden arch, Aurora adjusted her veil. She looked radiant, pure white, glowing, powerful. You ready? She asked softly. I nodded. Are you? She smiled. You are always more than you let yourself be. Today we both shine. She squeezed my hand, then whispered. When we walk down that aisle, hold your head high, because every single person out there will remember you. The guests stood. Music swelled. The bridesmaids walked out one by one. Then me. I stepped into the aisle, sunlight pouring down like a spotlight. Each step in my heels was deliberate. I saw phones lift. Cameras click. I saw Jason's parents whisper. I saw Ava's eyes widen. But I didn't stop. I walked like I was born for this. And when Aurora appeared behind me, the guests forgot me completely. But I didn't care. Because I had never felt more real. The vows were perfect. Aurora's voice barely trembled. Jason looked smitten. But as the priest asked for objections, I felt the tension. Ava stood.
Gasps.
Aurora froze. Jason looked confused. Ava began. I just wanted to say. She looked directly at me. You clean up well, Daniel. Silence. Then murmurs. Eyes whipped toward me. My breath caught. This was it. The moment it all collapsed. But before anyone else could speak, I stepped forward. She's right. I looked at the crowd, at Aurora, at Jason, at everyone. My name used to be Daniel. But today, I stand here as Nicole. Some people gasped. Some whispered. But others clapped. Taylor stood and started clapping. Then Grace. Then Lena. Aurora didn't flinch. She smiled. The priest cleared his throat. Shall we continue? Aurora nodded.
Yes.
Because today is about truth. And love. And owning who we are. She glanced at me. And I wouldn't want anyone else standing beside me. The ceremony continued. The priest, bless him, barely skipped a beat. Jason glanced between Aurora and me, clearly shaken but silent. Aurora held her ground, smile firm. When they finally kissed, the guests clapped again. But it wasn't the same.
They had questions now.
Whispers. Judgments. Curiosity. And I was still standing in heels, bouquet in hand, heart in freefall. As the wedding ended and people began to file out toward the reception, the stares started up again. Some were kind. Some not. Lena gave me a tight hug. You were brave as hell, she whispered. Taylor smiled. Screw anyone who didn't clap. But others looked through me like I was a ghost in satin. Jason's mother wouldn't even make eye contact. And Ava? She looked disappointed, like she had tried to burn me down, and somehow I walked out glowing. The music began. Lights twinkled. Champagne flowed. I stood near the edge of the dance floor, watching from the sidelines. The DJ called for the wedding party to join the couple. Aurora approached me. You're not sitting this out, she said. Aurora.
No.
You survived hell in heels. You don't get to hide now. She pulled me onto the floor. I followed. Not because I wanted to be seen, but because I wanted to feel. As we danced, guests slowly stopped whispering. They started watching, and then joining in. Later, while I caught my breath near the roses, Aurora appeared again. She handed me a small velvet box. Inside, a delicate gold necklace with a single engraved charm. N. Nicole, she said. Because no matter who you were, this is who I see now. I choked back tears. Why did you do all this? At first, it felt like punishment. She nodded. It was. You broke me. When you left, when you ran. I wanted you to feel the humiliation I felt. I lowered my gaze. But somewhere between the lip gloss and the lashes, I realized I wasn't breaking you. I was revealing you. As the night wore on, Jason approached. My stomach dropped. He stood in front of me, drink in hand. You fooled me. I'm sorry, I said immediately.
He paused.
You know what the weirdest part is? I braced. You weren't pretending. You really are more confident than I ever saw you in college. He raised his glass. To Nicole. I stared. You're okay with this? He chuckled. My wife chose you. That's good enough for me. And then he was gone. The music slowed. Couples danced. Lights dimmed. I stood by the edge of the dance floor, unsure, until a soft hand reached for mine.
Aurora.
We started this together, she whispered. Let's end it that way. We danced slowly. Not as enemies. Not even as exes. But as two women who had broken each other and rebuilt something unexpected. Not love. Not revenge. But recognition. As the night ended, I walked to my car, heels in hand, stars overhead. Phone buzzing. Text from unknown number.
You survived. Didn't expect that.
I replied. Because I finally stopped pretending. Blocked the number. And as I looked at my reflection in the car window, makeup smudged, curls messy, necklace shining, I smiled. Nicole wasn't going anywhere. 3 days had passed since the wedding. I hadn't taken the necklace off. The photos were everywhere. Bridesmaids twirling, Aurora beaming, and me, standing tall in silver heels. The comments were mixed. Who's the maid of honor? She's stunning. Wait, is that a guy? Her confidence is unreal. Respect. Gross. But I didn't delete a single one. Let them talk. I had survived Ava. I had survived the whispers. Or so I thought. That morning, a small black box sat outside my apartment. No name. No return label. I opened it slowly. Inside was a flash drive and a single note. Let's see how far Nicole is willing to go to stay perfect. No signature. No hint. Just dread curling in my chest. I plugged in the flash drive. The file autoplayed. Grainy surveillance footage. Of me. Not Nicole. Daniel. From months ago. At a bar. Laughing. Kissing someone.
Sloppy. Drunk.
Masculine. Another clip. Daniel removing a wig. Crying in front of a mirror. Another struggling to zip a dress. Screaming at his reflection. My most private moments. All recorded. All compiled. All ready to destroy me. My phone rang. Unknown number. Not Ava. This voice was male.
Cold.
Measured. We haven't met, Nicole. But I know everything about you. Ava was just the start. A distraction. You've stepped into a bigger world now. I gripped the phone tighter. What do you want? Obedience, he said. You're going to do something for me. Something delicate. And in return, I won't release this footage. You want to be a woman so badly? Good. Because I'm about to show you what that really means. The line went dead. I stared at the mirror. Nicole. Still beautiful. Still powerful. But now hunted. Cornered. A puppet or a threat. Was this just the next evolution? Or the beginning of the end? I turned back to the necklace. To the mirror. To the lipstick I now wore every morning without flinching. You want Nicole? You're about to get her. But not the way you expect.